Now, there are new details tonight about the gunman Omar Mateen, who murdered those 49 people in the Orlando, Florida nightclub. Authorities are considering whether to press charges against his wife. According to a report, Mateen's wife knew about his plans for the rampage, and she had driven him to the gun store and to the nightclub to help scope out the scene. Mateen and his wife worshipped at the same mosque as the suicide bomber. In fact, the first American suicide bomber in Syria. So who knew about Mateen's mission? And should that mosque now even be considered to be under surveillance? Joining me now, Eric Guster, Bo Dietl, David Katz, and Tammy Bruce. David Katz, I'll start with you. President Obama more or less throwing down a gauntlet today, saying to Donald Trump, radical Islam, if he did say it, what would it change? He knows who the enemy is, and they've been quite effective in attacking that enemy.
It's an absurdity. If you can't name the enemy and direct your resources to defeating that enemy, then you're not making any progress. What is extremism? It's Islamic radical extremism. That means we have to look at where these Islamic radical extremists are bred. That means stepping up surveillance in some of the mosques, particularly the mosque that apparently spewed enough hate for this guy to act. So I don't know. The president has this reluctance to basically name things as they are.
Well, I guess he was saying is that if he had said the term or the words, that it wouldn't have changed anything that he's done. Before even saying that, of course, he came out because initially this was just an update on what was going on with ISIS. So he talked about the 13,000 airstrikes. He talked about the attack helicopters, the advisors. He talked about Mosul. He talked about Fallujah. He talked about the noose tightening on ISIS, more or less a semi-victory lap. So what else could he have done if he had uttered these words?
13,000 airstrikes, Mosul, Fallujah. There's still Americans being killed here. We have an asymmetrical threat. We don't have command and control necessarily. We have an ideology that's rampant in this country. So what happens is people are incited, people are ramped up to where they take action independently, where we can't interdict, let's say, communication from overseas, from Syria or other cells that are elsewhere. What we have is a homegrown developing threat based upon an ideology, a religious ideology.
Right.
That's the issue.
Tammy, that ideology, some are worried, to David's point, it was the Fort Pierce Islamic Center, very small building. You've got two notable murderers, killers, American homegrown killers, who maybe were radicalized in that building.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's fascinating because Obama also said that nobody on his team's ever told him to change. Well, they're mired in groupthink. That's why he's not told what to do or he's not challenged. This is like telling someone who has cancer that they have a head cold, and suggesting that saying that you have a head cold and you don't address it as cancer doesn't make any difference at all. It does, because it directs the treatment, it directs your attitude, it changes your entire strategy. Here you've got a situation where this man, and it speaks directly to why the terrorist in Orlando was let go by the FBI, as James Comey told Fox News Channel's Catherine Herridge, that it was because he complained his co-workers were Islamophobic. And that is the only reason he was talking about al-Qaeda and Hezbollah. So they removed him from the list. That is why ignoring who the threat is from matters, because you're more inclined to remain in denial and do nothing. Words matter because they direct your actions, and it's not just the words. It's a symptom of a refusal to address the problem as a whole. It's a sign that Barack Obama does not want to face reality. That's the problem.
In short, Eric, is this a form of enabling? Or even some will go as far as to say encouraging the actions of ISIS and homegrown terror?
No, this is not encouraging ISIS, but the issue is the homegrown terror.
Does it embolden them at all, though? Does it embolden them, the idea that they don't have someone on the other side fighting back as fierce as they're fighting us?
No, we are fighting back, and that's what so many on the GOP and on the right don't agree with, but it's the truth. We're fighting back, and just saying radical Islam is not going to eliminate the issue. We have to get into those people with these crazy ideas and these nutcases, like this guy down in Orlando who did the shooting. He's a nut job, and we're not sure whether or not he really believed in their ideology, or if that was a last-minute effort. Let me call.
You mean the guy who called up 911 and pledged his allegiance to ISIS?
In the middle of it,
we're not sure if he believed in ISIS.
In the middle of
the guy who went to Saudi Arabia twice.
In the middle of this murder, I believe it may have been an afterthought, but we have to get into these people's minds.
Problem.
No, let me finish. We have to get into what these people are reading, what they're reading on the internet, and try to stop it. But saying radical Islam, the leader is...
Well, we're gonna get into what he's reading, and believe me, the FBI has gone through all of that, so we'll know all the information. I guarantee you, no one will be surprised when we see the ISIS-inspired magazine and the correspondence and these kind of things.
You know, I listened to the president's speech today, and the word narcissist is our president. He has taken that now into a political thing, talking about Donald Trump, talking about the gun lobbies, talking about all the issues except those victims, those 49 victims that were in Florida there. And let's face it, the gun lobby thing, he made his whole point today as a political speech. The men and women police officers there in France that got stabbed to death by another idealistic value, a Muslim terrorist. Look at it. These were Christians, and they were running around killing people under the name of God. They would be radical Christians. So there's no problem with the wordplay. I'm not that concerned about the wordplay. What I'm concerned is about our response to ISIS when they burned 19 young girls who were virgins in a cage and burned them to death, and then they publicized it all over their websites, and they're recruiting all these people. We've got to wipe them out. We've got to kill them there. And that's the most important thing, because they're feeling more and more powerful, and these nut jobs that are watching it think that it's a calling. So we got to end that calling. We got to cut the snake's head off and cut them off.
We do, because wordplay really does not matter. It's about our actions and exactly what we're doing.
I remember President Obama a long time ago saying that words matter.